What's your next question?
My next question.
Nice and loud.
If you're in a relationship, and in the beginning, I do believe it's important is to let that man know that this is my goal. You know, sex. I want to wait until I'm married for sex, and he says yes. Well, I understand that, and I'm man enough to handle it. But let's say a couple of months down the relationship, he realized that he wasn't man enough to handle that. So he leaves. Does that mean he didn't love you, or does that mean he didn't love me, or is that was it fake in the beginning? Where I oftentimes feels like the source of every relationship is always sex, and then when the breakup comes, you know, because this man couldn't have sex, then it's like, okay, well, were you really into me like you say you were? You know, like, is it fake? Or
how long were you with this guy, hypothetically speaking?
6 months.
6 months. 6 months, I would sit up there and say, and you will be able to judge by his actions. You can spend time with a guy, spend time with me for 6 months. We're in a relationship for 6 months. You have to make sure you take up as much time of my time as possible. My weekends should basically be spent with you. My free time should be spent with you. Okay? If they're spent with you and I'm treating you nicely, and you can tell my emotions are really into you, then it was really love. If during those 6 months he wasn't spending a lot of time around you, and it really wasn't, no matter what we say out of our mouth, because we're going to always tell you what you want to hear until we get comfortable enough with you, because of time where you're going to finally find out the truth about some things. If during that period he showed you that I'm really into you, and you guys are spending a lot of time, then it was true love. If it really wasn't a lot of time spent together during those 6 months, honestly, it was one of what we call a game. I'm into you, I like you, I want you, but true love, because when I'm really into, I've been in love before. I mean, head over heels in love before, and didn't matter. We didn't have to do anything. And this was after I had got the sex drive thing going, you know. But I was so into her, we didn't have to do anything. In fact, it was reversed. She got on me. She says, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, "What?" She says, "Are you gay?" I don't want to upset you. I just want to know, are you gay? I just want to come out and ask you. I said, whoa, why are you asking me am I gay? She said, because we've been together for 4 months and not one time have you made a pass at me. I was so into her that it didn't matter. I'm like, she'll let me know that you're ready. And I told her, I said, I didn't make a pass at you because I figured you would let me know when you're ready. It's no big deal to me. That's how much in love with her I was. I wanted to talk to her on the phone all the time. When you're in love, you got butterflies when you're around this person. When you're in love, you can't wait to see this person tell them about your day. You know, remember, even as a married couple, you can fall in and out of love. I still love you. I still love my wife. But there are times that we fall, I can't speak for her. Yeah, I can. There are times that we fall in and out of love. You know? Right. And you can tell by your actions. You can tell by your actions. So maybe he loved you. Because to me, there's a difference between being in love and loving a person. Loving a person is a strong care. I don't want anything to happen to you. Okay? I was with this young lady and we're not together anymore, but she's always been there for me. I still love her. I'm not in love with her anymore. In love is my infatuation. That's what can come and go. Being in love with a person and loving them are two different things. So maybe that person was in love with you. Didn't necessarily love you, because if they loved you, he ain't going nowhere. He's going to wait, because it has nothing to do with what you do. He loves you. It has nothing to do with whether you love him or not. He loves you. And when I love a person, man, I'm all out for her. I'm all out for her. I can wait. When I'm in love with a person, it's a little different. You know, because somebody else can come along and grab my attention, and I'm like, wow, you know. But when I love a person and I'm in love with that combination, nobody else is going to grab that attention at all.
So is that in love? Is that what gets the ring?
The in love and the love gets the ring. The combination. Being in love doesn't get the ring. Being in love is, let's get engaged. Talking. No rings going on your finger. Loving somebody and being in love with somebody, the combination of both are strong. Now you got one whole. Those two entities are now one. You can't penetrate that. That's strong. Being in love with you without loving you, it can fade. Because you can do something to really tee me off, or you can do something to hurt me, or destroy the fact that my emotions, my infatuation about you. You can do something that really disappointed me, and that can really change. by the fact that I don't love you, it's not strong enough to hold me there. I'm going to leave. If I love you, it's hard to break away. So loving somebody is stronger than being in love. Loving is hard to break away from the person. You know the person who's done you wrong, and you know people say, "Girl, you need to get away from him. He's nothing but a dog." That's because she loves that man. She's still in love with him, but she's that love, that base, that solid ground was solidified. She can't. I mean, it's hard to break out of that. But being in love with a person, they can tee you off. Next week, you're not in love with them anymore. You don't feel like being bothered. But that love, the fact that you love him. And if he loved you, he's not going anywhere. So let's say, I'm going to have to say that brother, he may have had a point where he was beginning to get to the love part, but he was in love with you. Okay? And again, you will be able to know that based upon how much time did you guys spend together. You want to find us out? Because when I was out there and playing, when I was out there and I was a player, there's a difference in the player and the dog. I mean, that's one of the questions too. We'll get to that. When I was out there and I was a player, I couldn't have, and my magic number was 3. I always had 3 women, but I couldn't spend my birthday with all 3. I couldn't spend New Year's Eve with all 3, and I couldn't spend Valentine's Day with all 3. Those are the 3 days that will always give a man away. Yeah, brothers, I'm busting us out. Those are the 3 days that will always give us away. My birthday, the man's birthday. Because my line was, I got to be with my mother, spend some time with my family. It was always a line that, I got to work. New Year's Eve, I got to work. Oh, I'm going to church. If I knew she didn't want to go to church. And Valentine's Day. I'm going to spend the first half of Valentine's Day with you because I'm going to go ahead and be with my mom, take my mom out for the second half of Valentine's Day. I had to divide those days up, some of those days up. Christmas, I would just roll the dice and be happy. This Christmas Eve, I'm going to be with you, and Christmas Day, I'm going to be with you, and Christmas night, I'm going to be with you. I will mix it up. I can get away with that because that's family time. I can use that as an excuse. So being in love and loving, I will sit up there and say, he was in love with you, and you have to say whether or not that's true based upon the fact that how much quality time did you guys spend together, and how did he treat you? Did he make you feel? Because you don't have to wonder if somebody's in love with you. You'll see it.
Peace.
Yes. Well, y'all have these questions. You want to come over here? Is that your last one?
You
All right.
said-
Let me get it.
It's not a question. She's commenting.
Come on over.
You were saying.
Come on over. Don't be scared.
Sure.
Don't be scared. Come on.
No, you said.
How you doing? Have a seat. Tell them your name.
Carolyn.
Carolyn. Okay.
Yes. My question is, you talked about having 3 different ladies.
Yes.
Now, you said in love means that you care about that person and that gets the ring on the finger.
That'll get the ring. That can get the ring on
That
the finger.
can get the ring. If it gets the ring on the finger and you never get to the altar.
That's that little ring. That's not that $4,000 or $2,000. That's that little
But then-
$200 ring, diamond, little tiny diamond. You gotta,
What's
yeah,
the
'cause-
purpose of putting the ring on the finger? To keep it for as long as you want
Right.
and then
Yeah.
just
Right.
kind of dispose of her later?
No, not try to dispose of her. When I was doing it, there became a certain age. At a certain age, I got serious with women. Something hit me where I was like, you know what? I don't want to be labeled as a dog in this because there's a difference in a dog and a player. But something labeled me at age 33. I said, I was laying in bed with somebody. I was like, I've never felt like, okay, you can go home now. I've never felt that way. And I said to myself, I don't want to be that way towards any woman because guess what? Would I want somebody to be that way towards my daughter? Would I want somebody to be that way towards my mother? And something in me changed. And it didn't matter who I was with from that point on. I wasn't feeling satisfied when it was over. It was something that happened to me. And I realized then, God is saying, look, enough of this nonsense, all right? You got to answer for this anyway. But now I need to settle down and find out who's the person I need to be with for the rest of my life.
So, why are men like that?
Different reasons. Even though I was trying to find out who I wanted to be with, I was seeing 2 women. All right, the third one came in. And when the third one came in, I realized the third one was the one that I really wanted to be with. I had to find a way to get rid of, away from the other 2. Especially when you didn't argue with one of them. You never had an argument. So how am I going to get away from her? What excuse am I going to use? This one was easy to get rid of. Just that I had been with this one for a long time. So time was a problem with this one. The new one was the one I wanted to be with. It wasn't that I was like that with her. I wasn't dogging her out. Basically, I was kind of like, I wasn't playing her. I was basically playing these 2. When I realized these weren't who I wanted to be with, this is who I wanted to be with, I had to slide out of these relationships. I couldn't abruptly say, listen, You know, because I tried that before. I tried that years ago when I was at a job, and I was like, listen, I need to talk to you. She's like, what? I said, I met somebody, we need to talk. Can you come out on my route? She said, sure. I said, I met somebody who I'm really interested at my church. I found myself really interested in, and I shouldn't be. If I'm into you, I shouldn't be. You know, I tried to do the right thing the right way. Didn't work. So I learned from my mistakes. I'm like, you know what? I ain't doing it that way anymore. Okay? I'm not doing it that way anymore. 3 women. I almost lost the question now. 3 women. Why do we mess with 3 women?
You have 3 women there, and I asked the question about the ring. So if you have 3 women and you have one that has that little ring on her finger.
Oh no! Once that ring goes on, it's no longer 3.
You throw the other ones out
before that ring even gets there. Before that ring even gets there, the other 2 are cleared out.
So what happens? You're speaking from a single man's point of view.
Right.
What happens on the other end when you're married and you carry that into, sometimes men do, a marriage? You're married to this young lady maybe 5 or 6 years, and then all of a sudden you get back into that mode that you were in maybe before you married. Why do men do that?
There's something that's lacking in my marriage that she's not giving me. Now here's a good example. Man, I don't want to put all my business out there. Here's a good example. I've sit up there and I've told. I was married twice. I sit up there and I said, listen, we were making love before I couldn't even come over your house and lay my head down to rest before you were all over me when we were going together and while we were engaged. And that was like 4 times a week. Or you would come over here. We were intimate for at least 4 times a week. As soon as we got married, and I'm talking about when I say as soon as we said I do, went on the honeymoon, it changed on the honeymoon. And it had been that way, period, from there. And when I started saying, listen, we went from 4 times a week to twice a month. I'm not feeling this. I need you to be intimate with me. I want you. She was the only one who I desired. I didn't desire the other women. Yet I had other women throwing things at me, but I was dedicated to her, and most importantly, I knew that I walked up to that altar and made a vow to God. I feared him more than I feared her. Now, I'm not perfect, and I got things I have to answer for, but I knew that at a certain point, I made a vow to him. That's what sustained me. So, you also got to be careful about the character, the morals of this guy that you're marrying, okay? Because your morals will only let you go so far. You're not going to cross a line. If you have strong morals, you're not going to go cross a line. There have been times where I'm like, you know what, I'm not feeling it, I'm not getting it. I talk to you, I've asked you, can you get sexy? Can you put some lingerie on for me? Once in a blue moon, can you fix a candlelight dinner? Can you initiate? Can you make me feel like I'm not begging you for it? Because I'm not getting it from you once a month, once every 2 months. As young as I'm like, I'm not feeling that. Or else, my needs will be taken care of by somebody else. Not too many men will come out and be that straightforward like I was. Excuse me, like I was. But didn't change anything. So, had I not had rooted and grounded my morals as far as, hey, look, I'm not crossing the line with God. She's not worth that. I'm not crossing the line with God. I just got to, he didn't make me come to the altar to make that vow. I said for better or for worse, this is one of the worst. I got to deal with this now. I got to deal with this. The only way I can get out of that is if she commits adultery. Not she mentally abuses me. Verbally abuses me, and I'm just, no. That's the point for one, you're for better or for worse. See, people turn your vows around to fit them.